Good morning. Can I get Dan Curry and Mary Kionis to come on up front? Good morning. We're going to go ahead and start with some introductory greetings. It's 9:23. I know we said we started at 9:30, and we have a lot of people parking, I noticed. Everybody doing okay? Everybody get ready to do business with Bexar County? That's what it's all about. I'm Renee Watson. I am the Director of the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Department for Bexar County. We really appreciate each and every one of you showing up today, expressing your interest and intent to do business with us. You'll see our team members walking around in support and whatever you need. James Massey, I think he's outside, and Lawrence White standing at the door. And then Brian Williford, he's going to be doing the social media. So as soon as he comes in, we're going to get started. So is anybody in the hallway want to ask them to go ahead and come on in and get seated? As we have some other speakers arrive, we'll be getting started in about 2 minutes. Yeah. Latifah, come on up front. And I don't see Mr. Arrested, but I see someone here that has a chair. So housekeeping, just turn off your phones. Just a quick reminder. And also housekeeping, the restrooms are through the door here, or if you want to go outside, you can go all the way around. It's a set of double doors all the way across the break room where the restrooms are. And it's vending and sodas and things like that outside as well. Brian, are we ready? So good morning once again. You'll also see some folks with some cameras walking around. Spectrum Media is taping part of the presentations this morning. We'll be doing some on-demand videos helping to share what we're trying to get out for capacity building and doing business with Bexar County. So you'll see a bunch of guys with their cameras walking around as well. If you'd like to give us some positive feedback, just let me know. We're taking testimonials from business owners as well. So this morning, we're very excited to let you know on your agenda, you'll see Dan Curry first, but we're going to have a change in the program. We're going to have our sheriff go first because he is here, and we're very honored to have him in our presence this morning for all the things he's doing for small business, and he's going to tell you about some other initiatives. Following him and then his department's presentation, will be followed by Dan Curry with our facilities department, and then their presentation. Does everybody have an agenda? Everybody picked up an agenda outside? No? Yes? Okay, this is an interactive. Like I said, the sheriff is here. We have plenty of handcuffs if you don't act right. So we want your interaction. We want your questions. We want to know what we're not doing or what we can do better for you to be able to do business with us. You'll see flashing on the overhead, the county's, our new SWIMI website. We're updating it, refreshing it, and putting more information and actually putting a calendar. So we'd like for you to take a moment, sometime later on this week, go in and look at it. If it doesn't make sense to you, send us an email. If it's nice, send us that email too, because we're working hard to be able to bring out more information to what we're trying to do here at Bexar County. And on behalf of Bexar County Commissioner's Court, we really appreciate each and every one of you who do business with us. In saying that, it is my honor and extreme privilege to bring up Sheriff Salazar and all of the things that he's doing. You see, he's cleaning out, he's cleaning up, and we're excited about it. So please welcome Sheriff Salazar.
most days we're excited about it. Good morning, y'all. I'm Sheriff Javier Salazar, or as I'm more commonly known, I thought you'd be taller. It is what it is, right? Well, I'm happy to be here talking to all y'all about how we can work together. Because that's what, since we've hit office, that's what we've been all about, is finding ways to work better with the community that we serve. When I took over the sheriff's office, we had basically two functions. We had law enforcement in the unincorporated areas of Bexar County, and the jail. That was it. And I thought, well, there's a lot of opportunity missing there along the middle, things that we could be doing. First and foremost, I'm the Bexar County Sheriff. That's 1.8 million residents. We don't ignore the 1.5 million that live within the city of San Antonio. They're my responsibility too. They pay Chief McManus's salary, but guess what? They also paid mine. So the way I see it, you should be entitled to twice the protection. You're paying for two department heads, right? And so I figured out ways. We need to figure out ways to get to those folks a little bit more effectively and to help them out with what it is that they need. So we're positioning ourselves as an agency to be more proactive. Well, what does that mean? Well, you know, along the years, along my whole career with the SAPD, I've concentrated really heavily on crime prevention. So we concentrate, when we talk about crime prevention in the traditional sense, it's putting window locks on your doors, you know, figuring out how to do home security survey, bigger screws in your door plates to prevent residential burglaries. And I said, well, you know, as a county, let's concentrate a little bit more on what we're calling now crime prevention 2.0. So while it is still important to prevent burglars from kicking in your front door, and from, you know, burglarizing your car, from stealing your purse off the front seat at La Cantera because you left your purse on the front seat, it's also important to start preventing things like human trafficking, cyber crimes, opioids, synthetic drugs. Those are the kind of things that'll kill you. Those are the kind of things that literally human traffickers are, make no mistake about this, targeting your kids in your schools, in the privacy of their bedroom in your house through the computer. They're targeting us. So we need to be preventing that kind of stuff as well. And that's what I saw as our opportunity as the sheriff's office, to position ourselves to be that linchpin. To be that linchpin, not just to you guys and how to prevent all these nasty crimes that people are inventing new ways to get you and your money and your family on a daily basis. We need to prevent that. But we also need to be a better linchpin between the feds, the federal government, and local law enforcement. And that's what we're trying to do. Now, how do you guys come into that with us? Well, we're asking businesses, small and large, to partner with us on ways to prevent crime. Right now, we're working on a plan, and I'll be in more of a position to announce this in the next coming months, the next few months, probably by the big event that Renee was just telling me about in December. We're looking at ways to partner with businesses of all kinds on establishing best practices, security-wise, not just preventing robberies, but preventing all these other things. Well, you know, you're saying, well, you know, I own a small liquor store, or I own a small convenience store. How do I help with human trafficking? Believe it or not, there are things that you can do, indicators that you can do to help us with human trafficking. If you're a realtor, there's things you can do to help us address human trafficking. There's things that you can do to help us address, you know, grow houses in a neighborhood, stash houses where victims of human trafficking are being stockpiled until they can be moved further north. There are things that you can do. It's just our job to give you the indicators of what to look for and how to do that. So that's what we're hoping to do is establish a business partnership where we can do that, and also help you out with a little bit of preventive measures that you can take within your business to prevent the more traditional sorts of crimes like robberies and things like that from happening. So we're on the verge of building that, and we're going to be making some important announcements before too long. But I just kind of wanted to give y'all a little teaser on that. The fact that you all are here tells me that you're perfect candidates for it, because y'all care about your business. You care about how better you can work with the county. Y'all are a good captive audience for me for this kind of stuff. And so I applaud y'all for wanting to take a more active approach, how to make the county better, how to make your relationship with the county better. And so I'm excited for all of you. I'm excited for the fact that you're all here. And again, I thank you for that. Here representing the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, there's some people in the back I want to introduce, and then I've got another one of our next presenters that's going to come up and talk to y'all. But in the back of the room, there's some important people from my command staff. On closest to the door is Deputy Chief Roy Fletcher. He's my Deputy Chief over patrol. Right next to him is Chief Deputy Don Tijerina. He's number 2 in command of the Sheriff's Office. And to his immediate right is Assistant Chief James Serrato. When I talked about establishing that middle division in the Sheriff's Office to kind of bridge the gap between the two, Assistant Chief Serrato is the one that heads that. It's my shared services and administration. He's my Chief of Staff. And so what he does is he oversees all the shared services, so all of our recruiting, our training, policies and procedures, the training academy, all the stuff that feeds off into the other 2 branches, he oversees that. But he also oversees a lot of our crime prevention efforts, and our counterterrorism and human trafficking is all under Chief Serrato. He also oversees this next gentleman that I'm gonna introduce. Mr. Manuel Angeles is our business manager for the Sheriff's Office, and he's going to come up and talk to y'all a little bit about what he does and how best he can help with what we're doing today. Again, I just want to say once again before I head out, thank you all for taking the active approach in being here. It shows that you care about your business. It shows that you care about the county, and I'm certainly a fan of that. So thank you all very much for being here. You're in for some great stuff from these speakers. Thanks, guys.
Sheriff Salazar, thank you for that wonderful introduction. My name is Manuel Angeles, and I'm the Bexar County Sheriff's Office Business Manager. I've been with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office now, just celebrated my 10th year anniversary, and in my current role as a business manager, I've been operating now for a total of about 7 years. What you have before you right now is figures that are outlining our contracting and procurement for physical items such as supplies and services. Supplies and services. Supplies are basically those individual items that we store on our warehouse shelves, those unique items that our officers, detention, and law enforcement need to perform their duties. Okay? So we're talking about papers, pencils, computers, furniture items, forms, all those individual items. And then on the services side, those computer services, software applications, the ability to transfer information from our internal departments to external agencies, as what's been said, capability, right? So what you're looking at now is historically over the years, historically over the years, we've been spending significant dollars. And for fiscal year 2017, we spent a total of $8,340,000 for purchases of services and items. Now I have highlighted up here 2 line items, deals with clothing, bedding and utensils, and warehouse shelf items. Basically, that's primarily the bulk of items that we're looking for interaction and support from the local community. You folks out here as vendors trying to provide that needed support that the Sheriff's Office has. Okay? Okay. So as we take that $1.1 million requirement, we're going to break it out into the different types of items. Okay? And as you can see, by the dollar values, what we're requiring in each of these different expense items is significant. If you look at the totals, we're talking about 20,000, 8,000. These are cases, these are rings, these are boxes, these are individual quantities of the requirements that we have. Now the Sheriff's Office, as other county agencies, we all operate on a fiscal basis. Our fiscal year is from 1 October to 30 September. So come 1 October, we're going to be in fiscal year 2018. That means we had to have submitted our budget for next year. We submitted it back in May. So we have forward planning that always has to be done year by year. And then part of that planning is to find out who are the vendors that we're dealing with, what contracts we're going to establish for the required supplies and services that we need. That's why it's so wonderful to have you folks here with us today, being part of this venture going forward. Okay. From a clothing and bedding perspective, this listing here is just a small listing of all different items and quantities that we need for the detention side of the house. The sheriff's office has the capacity of housing 4,500 individuals on any given day. 4,500. That's a lot. And you know also that we're arresting, on average, about 658 individuals. So 658 individuals come in per day. 4,500 get housed. 650 individuals get released. Once we reach capacity, we ultimately have to transfer individuals to other facilities. But in essence, we're at capacity right now. Now, it takes a lot to clothe individuals, to feed individuals, make sure that their needs are being met, because again, they're under our care, and we have to provide those required services. Okay. So again, you see we have uniform requirements for the inmates, we have bedding requirements, we have showering requirements, all those different types of supplies that are required, just to make sure that at the bare minimum, we're meeting their needs. Next slide. Now, from an administrative aspect, the sheriff's office has 1,900 employees. And that's law enforcement, that's detention, that's civilian staff. We all use computers, we all use forms, we all use those daily supplies that, to some extent, we all take for granted, to exercise our ability to meet that mission that the sheriff has outlined. And so you can see here some examples of the different types of supplies that are utilized. Printer cartridges, printers, forms, envelopes, pens, pencils, cartons. There's a long listing here. Now, all these supplies we utilize for the majority part of supplies available on our warehouse shelves. We have a system called Lawson. It manages the reorder points for all these inventory items because we have to have them available. So that's when vendors come in. We will be establishing contracts with your individual departments and or companies, and we will be ordering supplies from you. We need just-in-time delivery. Our warehouse spacing is very small, so we have to manage that spacing relative to the supplies that need to be issued out to the individual departments. The sheriff's office is configured in 11 different buildings. Okay, so imagine 11 different buildings. We got a warehouse full of items that we need to be constantly stocked with rotating items as they're going on, and with 11 buildings, we have 5 supply guys, 5 supply customers. So imagine that 5 individuals are working their hearts out, getting the needed supplies to all the different 11 buildings, all the different individuals working in different offices. We're running a 24/7 operation. The sheriff's office does not sleep. Okay. So they're constantly moving and rotating items and ordering items. We have a system again that's called Lawson that manages our supply items. So we have reorder points. As an individual item comes down to a certain point, PO gets cut and automatically sent back to the vendor saying, hey, we need more of your product. So that gets shipped in. We have one warehouse stocking station where everything comes in. So vendor trucks are constantly coming into the warehouse for us to be able to facilitate the unloading and loading of supply items put back on the warehouse shelves. Okay. Hygiene items, very big thing here. Again, we have capacity of 4,500 individuals that we have to maintain the custody of. And as such, we go through a lot of different items that we're ordering from them. From individual items that clean surfaces, the items required for the ladies, basic soap items, gloves, physical soap items. As you can see, significant dollars that are being spent for these, especially soap. You know, like so far this year, we've purchased 750 cases. Go back up. We spent 750 cases of soap at the cost of $29,000 and such. We have razor blades individuals have to raise. We have toothbrushes. Anything that you would basically be using in your own homes, we're using here for the care and well-being of the inmates. So again, we have these requirements. We have janitorial supply issues. Okay, the most of the janitorial cleaning is actually done by the inmates within the secured areas of the jail under the supervision of the detention officers. So, being that the case, we have to maintain a certain level of cleanliness relative to jail standards and make sure that these items are available for use by the inmates. So, brooms, cleaning supplies, toiletries, garbage bags. We go through a lot of toiletries in the jail office. 4,005 individuals, that's a lot. Cleaning and binding. Just take a look at this picture. This is a small little photo of our warehouse on the left-hand side. All of that is forms. We go through a ton of forms. Again, we have to document those different aspects of providing care, of the arrest process, of all this bits of information that are being utilized by detention and law enforcement officers. And again, what we're spending for in the different types of forms, it's a significant amount of money and such. So earlier, I alluded to that $8 million in terms of what we're doing for procurement, for supplies and materials. The dollar value comes back to what we're looking to get a control is about $1 million plus. Now, a very interesting thing is that the sheriff's office, when we're going to interact with vendors, we have certain rules that we have to follow by. Procurement rules that are driven by the dollar value of what we're trying to buy. So between $0 and $5,000, we kind of have a say as to which vendor we're going to be dealing with. Between $5,000 and $50,000, well, we have to provide a justification as to why we want to deal with a specific vendor. And between anything over $50,000, then those types of bids, as they're called, have to go before Commissioner's Court for them to sanction that particular vendor to deal with and such. So the question is, how is it that you folks can help us? Well, first off, we need to know who you are. We're asking you all to become registered within SWIMBY. Get yourselves your contact information updated so that we, at the Sheriff's Office, can go into that database and look you folks up in terms of finding those particular vendors that meet our needs for the supplies and finding those needs for the services and such. Okay? It's like the dating game. Okay? We're all trying to find somebody to help us out with, making that best relationship going forward. To give you a little peek into, well, what's the fiscal impact here in terms of the state of Texas? Well, we looked at the top dollar spending, and guess what? San Antonio is getting about 88% of the cash out of that $400,000. San Antonio, it's really $6,000. But we're trying to bring, again, if you remember earlier, I alluded to 1.1 million or 8 million. The majority of our supply needs are out of state, out of county. We want to bring those dollars back into Bexar County, okay? And I know you folks have the capacity and you have the desire, and we want to meet up with you and partner with you to do this, okay? So that's what we are here about: forming community, forming relationships, forming that partnerships with you folks here, you vendors, in terms of us meeting our law enforcement mission and vision, and you folks becoming part of that. So with that being said, I'd like to move over to another member of our staff who's going to continue on.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Gonzalez with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. Obviously, I work in the Community Services section. We're here today. Our idea for small businesses is obviously one of the main concerns for us is crime prevention, how to battle that, laying the foundation for crime prevention, reduce commercial crime, reduce fear from crime from customers and businesses, overall security to determine vulnerability, physical layout, exterior, interior, number of employees of hiring practices in various types of crimes. We'll get a little bit more in depth. Our idea is an assessment of your business to physically go out. We can get to the next slide here. Okay, Security controls are essential to comprehensive security. From casual trespassers to committed criminals, poor physical security can jeopardize the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of business process and safety of personnel. This can also impact revenue and cause substantial loss. Our idea, what we envision, is a gold badge certification. This is a physical assessment of the businesses, and I'll pass this over to Mark, who's in our unit, and he is a crime prevention specialist.
Deputy Mark Martinez, Bexar County Sheriff's Office. Performing day and night assessments of the facility. What we do is we'll go, just like it says, in the daytime and then at night to give you an assessment. A lot of people, we fall under the tax of Step Tech, which is crime prevention through environmental design. What a lot of people don't realize is that at these locations, it may be that we can increase the visibility just by cutting down a tree, by lowering the size of the bushes. That may increase crime better. That may increase crime prevention. So we're going to do a physical assessment of your location. We'll evaluate the perimeter defenses, access control systems, alarm systems. There may be simple ways of just keeping the doors locked, of not having them propped open in the middle of the day. These are just simple things that we overlook a lot of times that you can utilize, and we'll give you all these different tips. We'll look at your video surveillance and other types of control, and we will provide a minimum and maximum assessment. What that means, we'll say, this is your basics, this is what you can utilize, and this is maximum efficiency. We'll give you both. We'll go from one end of the spectrum to the other. What that does is this covers major gaps and vulnerabilities. We've even got businesses we've gone to, and all they need to do is lock their windows at night. They're getting broken into because someone doesn't close the windows. If you have someone scheduled to check in the evening, go by, make sure everything's closed. These are simple things that we take for granted, and we will give you these. If we provide this to you on paper, it's like, oh, here it is. This is what I need to do. Here's a checklist. And we'll provide you with all of that. Go to the next one.
Sure. Sheriff's Gold Badge Safe Business Award. It's under development. Organizing a business watch, get to know owners, employees, community partners for businesses, offer crime prevention tips, offer seminars, business associations address business concerns, increase partnerships, community associations, strong stake in community, strategies for community and business associations. With the gold badge certification for your business, we envision this would aid your business in where somebody traveling or not familiar with the area would go to your business when picking or trying to find maybe a hotel to stay at, or your particular type of business has that gold certification. We think it would be more appealing from visitors from out of state or out of town, feeling safe that you have that. So it's still under development, and we're working, and that's what we have on that. Does anybody have any questions? Any ideas?
Is this going to kick off kind of imminently?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And we're working on it now. And so if there's anything from your side that we don't see internally from your perspective, we're open to that as well. I can leave you with my information, and we're interested in hearing that. And thank you for your time. No.
Is there a cost for this program?
Well, it's still under development, and we're working on it. We plan to have no cost involved at all. Yes, ma'am.
Would you come train our employees for it?
Yes, we would. We'd put on seminars, and we'd give tips, and we'd be involved with you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Clarification, this is available for all businesses?
Yes, sir.
In the county?
Even in the city?
In both, yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, and we currently offer home and business assessments, and there is no charge to the county. You can go to private companies and private organizations, and they will charge you up to thousands of dollars to come and do a business assessment. And a home inspection, they will come and do a home inspection, and they will charge you, a few $100s. I don't know if anyone's tried to sell a home recently, but they want a home inspection for safety. We will do that at no charge to the citizens of Bexar County. So we'll do that for home and business. Some businesses will charge, companies will charge $10,000, $15,000 for a business inspection. I think a few of you have dealt with that. The sheriff's office will provide that for you if you're a business within Bexar County. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. So we are also fortunate and honored to have Mr. Ureste here, and I didn't know if you want to go ahead and go now. We had you a little bit later, but we would love if you, because I know Dan Curry has to get to Austin, but we also know that you need to get to Austin, so we want to go ahead and get you to come on up and do your presentation. So how many of you know who Mr. Ureste is? How many of you open up that envelope and pay your property taxes? How many of you get your car tags? That's his name on all of that. So we are very honored, and his office provides a great service. So not only when we do meet the buyers do we talk about just doing business, but we also talk about the capacity and the health of your business and those services that are provided by Bexar County. So we are always honored when he joins us to do his presentation on how the tax office and the incredible work him and his team does on our behalf here of the citizens of Bexar County. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Albert Ureste.
Well, let me introduce my staff before we get started. Here, Carlos Gutierrez, who's our tax director, Stephen Palacios, who's our chief deputy, and Lisa Anderson, who's the other chief deputy. And I believe we have Josh here somewhere. Oh, and David DeLeon, our motor vehicle guy, director. He's the one that answers all the questions. And I think we have Josh here too with us. So anyway, just want to introduce them, and they'll hang around a little bit afterwards if y'all have any particular questions. So we're going to get started. We have about a 15-minute presentation. We're not really here soliciting or selling anything, but we are here to collect your money, so just let you know. Okay, so what is our mission statement? Our mission statement is to help keep families in their homes with an emphasis on helping our senior citizens, our disabled, our veterans, and ultimately our children. Our goal is to remain the #1 tax office in the state of Texas, but providing our citizens and businesses the best customer service and programs. And I say remain, we used to say become, but we really believe we're the #1 tax office in the state of Texas. We've had Houston come down here, Austin, different counties, larger counties even, come down here to see what we're doing. We now have 54 taxing jurisdictions. For the first time in the history of Bexar County, we have every jurisdiction. We're collecting taxes for every one. I don't know if this microphone's going out. We're really close to 100% collection. We've broken all the collection records here in Bexar County. We do about 2 million vehicle registrations and title transfers. Some of the things that we've done, of course, our lines are a lot faster. You know, we really worked on trying to provide a friendlier service. We staff our offices at lunchtime as much as we can, because that's when everybody goes to lunch and that's when everybody comes in the office. So we've hired to help us during the lunchtime. And of course, we stay open at all our locations now until 6:30 on Wednesdays. If you all been in our office lately, you know we have a queuing system now. And what that does is allow us to be more efficient in the way we serve our, plus it allows us to know who's waiting for what service. We've also installed chairs, and we did that for a number of reasons. Obviously, we did it for our seniors, we did it for our disabled, but we also did it for those parents that come in, you know, the mom or dad that has 2 kids hanging on them. And, you know, if you stand in line for even 5 minutes with 2 kids, it can be a challenge. And now what they do is they sit down, you know, you give them that little game thing, whatever it is, and they'll sit there for hours. And so parents love it. We do a lot of outreach, you know, such as this, and that's one of the things that we've really, really worked on doing. We send about over 670 statements out per year. Do we have another microphone? Okay. And one of the things we discovered, which you know kind of motivated us to do some new programs, is we always thought everybody send in their taxes to a mortgage company. They take out, their payments, they take out their taxes, they take out their insurance and all that. But what we found is there's only about a third of our accounts that actually have a mortgage set up. And so we initiate some programs to kind of help those people that have to mail in their taxes separately. And okay, everybody knows this date, January 31st. That's the same date every year. It's like Christmas and Easter. It never changes. Some of the things that we've done as far as creating payment plans, as you know, we have a half payment option. This is for businesses. This is for, home accounts, what have you. We have about 75,000 people that participate in this program. And not every county has it. I know for sure Dallas doesn't have it. I'm not sure about Houston, but this is a very popular payment plan where you pay half November 30th, and then you pay the other half June 30th. Quarter payment plan, if you're 65 and over, if you're disabled or a surviving spouse or a veteran with disability, you can pay your taxes in quarter payments on your homestead. But we weren't satisfied with this, so we developed this program, and it's a 10-month payment plan. It's we're the only county in the state of Texas out of 254 counties that have this program. And what this does, it allows our senior citizens to break up their payments into a manageable number. And I apologize that I'm breaking up so much, but
Tell us it's a cell phone. Everybody's cell phone is interfering.
Ah, okay. So it's a cell phone problem. That's good, Renee. I like the way you cut that off on everybody else here. So. Anyway, so you're allowed to do this. We're very proud of this. I can tell you, my staff can tell you, literally, I have a lot of senior citizens coming up to me in tears thanking us for this program, so we're very proud of it. But we weren't satisfied with that. So this is a statement you get every year. On the next slide, I'm going to show you this bottom part. So what we did is we went a step further, mainly designed it for the seniors, but it benefits all our citizens. And so what you do is when you get your statement, if you're 65 and over, you're going to get 4 choices here. All you have to do is pick the one you want to participate in. So let's say you want to do the 10-month payment plan.
Just a minute, guys. Sorry about that. We're going to change the battery too.
Can y'all hear me? Is that better? So anyway, so you get this bill, and you're 65 and over, and so you decide, hey, I'm going to send in the one for $22. That's all you have to do. You don't have to call me. You don't have to come downtown. You don't have to mail anything. You don't have to get online. All you do is send us a check for $22, and then we're going, obviously, hopefully yours is not going to be for $22. We're actually trying to find out who this person is. So, anyway, so you pick the one you want, you send it in, and then we automatically enroll you in a payment plan. So you're going to get coupons. You don't have to do anything. You just mail in the amount. And if you're on the quarter payment plan, same thing. And if you're on the split payment plan, you send us in this amount, and then we'll automatically bill you. And on the next slide, you'll see these are the coupons we're going to mail you, and so you get the you'll get the 9 coupons, and all you got to do is mail them in every month. Y'all supposed to clap when you hear that about it. Anyway, so we received this award. We're very proud of it, and we just show that, you know, it's our only, we don't get too many chances to show off, so we show that one. Thank you. Okay, businesses. Okay, this is why we're here today. As you know, the number one reason that businesses go out of business is because of taxes, whether it's income tax, employment taxes, property taxes. So we want to set this up for people who don't have an escrow for their homes, but also for the businesses, so that they can set up a payment plan where they can pay their taxes, and you're paying them in advance. So if, you know, December comes around and, you know, it's Christmas time, you want to buy the kids presents or what have you, you can skip a payment because you're paying in advance. There's no harm, no foul, no penalty. And then in October, we're going to send you a bill for the balance of whatever you owe. So it's a great tool to help you budget your money. Payment methods, obviously we can do it by phone. You know, also we're in the process of developing an app. You can do it in person, you can do it by mail, and you can do it online. As the government, we can't absorb the credit card fee. So if you go to HEB, you know, it's $5, you're going to pay $5. Here, if you come here, you're going to pay the 2.10%. But I can tell you that we have the lowest credit card transaction fee of anybody in the state. We also have the lowest debit card fee of anybody in the state. And right now, if you use e-check or your savings account to go into automatic deductions, what have you, that's free right now. So we're real happy with that. You can also pay on the ACH. There's no more minimum. There used to be a minimum, so you can do that as well. Automatic deductions, again, you can do it with credit card, and there'll be a transaction fee. Right now in the savings and checking, there is no charge. We anticipate there will be a minor charge in years to come, but right now there is no charge, so it's a great tool. Sometime within the next year or so, we anticipate everybody being able to do everything online. You can do it from your house, you can set up payment plans and what have you, and that'll be able to get done at your house or your business. Exemptions. We keep doing this program because every time we do this, we find someone that doesn't have their exemptions. And I can't tell you how many times we find senior citizens who've been paying their full taxes. We find businesses who've been paying, you know, different property amounts. And every time we do this program, we're going to find somebody. So this is what keeps us motivated. You have several exemptions. You have a homestead, 65 and over, disabled, veteran with disability, and you have a tax freeze as well. Tax freeze. There are some good things about turning 65. And one of them is that you get a tax freeze. So for instance, if you're paying $2,000 a year, you're going to pay $2,000 on your homestead. You're going to pay $2,000 a year for the rest of your life. Now it's going to fluctuate a little bit, but because the River Authority and the Hospital District don't participate, but all these other ones, the Schools District, the county, the city, and the Alamo Community College District, they freeze your taxes once you turn 65. So whatever you're paying, that's what you're going to pay, unless you add on to your house or move, but you will be paying the same amount. Tax deferrals. I show this in a hurry. It doesn't really pertain to business, but I show you that because if you have a parent, or if you're a person who's really having a difficult time, you know, you're having a difficult time buying your medicine, you're having a difficult, time, buying food, you can get on a tax deferral on your homestead if you're 65 and over or disabled. That allows you that you don't have to pay property taxes the rest of your life. There is a catch though, because a lot of us, we want to leave our homes to our children. If you pass away, at that point, your taxes are due. They have 180 days to pay those taxes. If they don't pay them, all the discounts, all the attorney fees that weren't posted, the higher interest, all that's going to come back. So if you have a parent who's really struggling, or if you know somebody who's really struggling, This is not designed for those people that live in the Dominion, I can tell you that, but it is designed for those people that are really struggling, and we have people out there, so just think about this. Delinquent tax, I show you this because it shows you how quickly you can get into tax trouble. January 31st, as you remember, let's say for instance it's $5,000. On February 1st, if you miss that date, you get a 7% hit. And then a 2% hit in March, and on and on and on. In July, you get the attorney fees. So you're now at a 41% penalty in a matter of about 6 months. So your taxes can really escalate in a hurry. That's why it's so important to try to pay your taxes on time, and at a minimum, get into a payment plan so you don't get the 20% in July. Organizational functions. I like to show this slide because everybody says, hey, lower my taxes. Well, let me tell you who does that. It's the appraisal district. They set the property value. We're still being recorded, right? So I gotta behave. Bear Appraisal District sets your property values, and they also decide who gets exemptions. Taxing entities, they do they decide what the tax rate is. Tax attorney collects the delinquent taxes. Tax assessor, he's a nice guy, really. Those are the things you got to remember about how the taxing process works. Okay, again, we're going to hammer a little bit on the appraisal district. We don't have anybody here from that anyway. When you think you live here, and the appraisal district thinks you live there, okay? And we get a lot of this, you know, and we're being a little facetious here, but if you feel, and we'll show you in the next slide, if you feel that your property values are not correct, you can appeal them, and you're going to get a property value notice in March. If your property increases by $1,000 or more, your values, you'll get it in March. You have until May 31st. I will tell you, if you don't file by May 31st, it is very difficult to get a hearing. So that's a very important date to remember, and it's also on your business property. It's on your personal property in your business, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, this is some of the value protest basics. The deadline May 31st. You'll get the notice of protest. Of course, you have the real property. You can do an informal online. So those are some of the things in that. Again, here we have the informal hearing, the formal hearing. Not everybody can do the informal hearing. It depends on where you live in the county. They have different areas sectioned off to be able to do that. Rendition form. I show you this because we have a lot of problems with this. You have to file this every year if you have a business, okay? This is on your personal property. Anything you use to make money, you know, whether it's your furniture, your vehicles, what have you, the Bear Appraisal District requires this. A lot of people don't do this, and they'll come back, you know, 5 years later, you know, they ignore them, and then they have all these penalties and fees. The other thing, too, if you close your business, which we don't want you to do, but if you close your business, you need to notify the Bear Appraisal District that you're closing because they will continue to tax you. Also, if you don't file the rendition form, you're going to get a 10% penalty, and they're also going to guesstimate your value. So if your value of your personal equipment is worth $10,000 and they estimate it at $20,000 and you don't do anything about it, that's the way it's going to stay. That's what you're going to pay taxes on. All right, we're almost done here. Facing difficult times. We all face them. We've all had them. We've all had bumps in the road. You know, whether it's your home, whether it's your business. I will tell you that we want to work with you. We don't want your homes. We don't want your businesses. My staff will tell you that I have never, ever, ever once turned away a citizen that comes to me with a sincere attitude. You know, we're going to require down payment, we're going to require a contract, but we will work with you. And I can't stress that enough. You know, if you know somebody's throwing their hands up, say, forget it, I owe too much property taxes, you know, I'm going to lose my home or I'm going to lose my business, tell them to come by here. At the end of the day, sometimes it happens. You know, we don't enjoy it, and but I can tell you that if you come to me, we will work with you, you know, as much as we can. Our location, south side, northwest, northeast, we have, and downtown, of course. And I don't know, Renee, do we have time for a few questions?
You can take them at the end, or we can direct them to your staff.
Okay, all right, well, that's it then. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you to Mr. Epstein and his staff for coming out. Tax collector collector is one of those offices you don't really understand how diverse and how many different things they do until you actually hear a presentation from them. That being said, from the RSVPs, we know a lot of folks here are interested in vertical construction.
So, some of you I've seen many times before, some are new faces. This presentation is going to be pretty similar, but it's going to have a lot of good challenge our SWIMBY staff here because I'm a talker, and so I like to move around a little bit. I'm the Director of Facilities Management, have been about 2.5 years now. My department does a lot of different things. So obviously we do vertical construction for capital projects, we do maintenance and operations of our facilities, we run parking garages, we run a bunch of different things. So go to the next slide. So to give us a little background, this is what we do. We maintain about 3 million square feet of buildings, about 100 to 110 employees that help us with that. That range from capital project staff, like architects and engineers, to parking managers, to parking attendants, to maintenance mechanics, to plumbers and electricians. We have a full spectrum of employees that we have. So services we leverage. And so can I get a show of hands? Who here are architects or engineers? Okay. How about general contractors? Right. Subcontractors or suppliers? Okay, so it's a pretty good mix of those kind of things. So we'll talk about some of those services that we leverage kind of in detail a little bit as we go through. So professional services, obviously that's architecture and engineering. State statute on professional services are very specific things. Architects and engineers are one of those things we contract for. Construction services, we do general contracting. We do single trade and multiple scope improvements. You know, we do small office renovation. We do other things such as that, which we'll get into here in a minute. Operational, preventative, and corrective maintenance. So this is the bulk of what we do. You know, the jail's up here, and the jail runs like a little city. I always liken it to a battleship. I don't know, I was never in the Navy, but I always hear people talking about aircraft carriers being its own city on the sea. That's what the jail is. It is its own self-sufficient city, and it takes a monumental effort. My staff alone spends over $6 million a year in that building just taking care of it. Through staff, payroll, material, parts, and all those other things. That's not including the capital projects of almost probably $60 million in the next 2 years that we'll be doing on that campus to improve the overall condition of those aged buildings. So we repair architectural elements, we repair mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, and of course we do preventative maintenance anywhere we can, because that prevents future failures. Let's go to the next slide. So recently adopted in July, there's new, I always get the acronym wrong, SMWBE policies, as well as an updated purchasing manual that I'm sure American Nurse can tell you about. We comply with all those policies, and really, there's 2 statements in those policies I want to make sure everyone understands. The last line, it says, are encouraged to support and implement a program designed to achieve the goal of establishing equal opportunity for all citizens of Bexar County. And that's what those programs are for, to make sure that we get the word out to every person that wants to do business with the county and give them equal opportunity to participate. Okay, so that's the goal. So our department, as governed by the county manager's office, that's our edict. That's my job responsibility to him. Of course, there's item 2 is to make sure that you guys understand this. Nothing in that policy says that we have to pick somebody over the lowest responsible bidder. You guys know it's a competitive market, and of course, we do things it's the best value for the taxpayers' dollars. Mr. Uresti gets all the money, and we have to spend it as prudently as we can. Okay? Because every year we're asked to do more with less. So let's talk a little bit about professional services. So we'll go to the next slide. In March, this all started in March 2016, we put out a solicitation for architectural services, where we put out a presentation with our Public Works Department, which you'll hear from here shortly about. We were soliciting public professional services, Public Works was soliciting professional services, and a lot of the design community didn't know what was going on. So we consolidated some of those functions. So what we do is we deliver a pool approach towards those projects that are $500,000 or less. So if there's a design project that's $500,000 or less, $500,000 a fee or less, we will use our consultant pool. So in March, or in October of 2016, we solicited for architects and engineers for vertical facilities projects. Okay, it's not separate from the Department of Public Works. What we did is we had those respondents, which you'll see in a couple slides, and we have a project that is basically $5 million in construction or less, which is about, rule of thumb is 10% of your construction value is going to be your architectural fees, right about. Now we will go to that pool and recommend something to the Commissioner's Court for approval. And they'll give us authority to approve that contract, and then we'll move forward. Any project that's larger than that, or larger projects, we'll do individual solicitations for that one project. So if we're building, well, no, we're not building a hospital, but if there's a new hospital we built, there'll probably be an individual solicitation for that. Or if we're building a new building that's $18 million, that will be an individual solicitation. So we presented on January 14th our respondent list, and at that presentation we also said we wanted to leverage public works efforts that they've already been doing. We engage construction material testing. Some of you may or may not know what that is, but they take core samples of fill material, asphalt, concrete, they do welding inspections, all those things are required by specifications in vertical construction and horizontal construction. I was asking for those respondents, Public Works was asking for those respondents, doesn't make any sense. So we consolidated that effort, and the one construction materials testing solicitation is going to be through Public Works. And we have a project that requires those services, we're going to go to them, they're going to give us the next person on the list, we'll sign that project, and they're making sure that that pool and that wheel rotates. In October 2018, you guys want to put this on your calendar, we will do another solicitation for architectural and engineering services, and it will last for 2 years. So that was adopted by Commissioner's Court in 2017 in that January court date, is that every 2 years we'll have a refresh of that pool. And so we, as the Facilities Management Department, gets anywhere between $12 to $15 million in new capital projects every year. So that means that over a course of 2 year span, I may get $20 to $30 million in projects. And that pool will be assigned to those particular projects for that 2 year span. And the following 2 years will be the next following capital projects. So again, these capital projects aren't consistent. Sometimes they're sporadic, sometimes they're big projects, sometimes there's little ones. But again, we're going to work that pool on a rotating basis in a 2 year term. So we go to the next one. So the reason why we went to that is a really efficiency on our part, because personally we're selfish, because it's a lot of information to read, but for the design community. So we realize a lot of small minority-owned businesses don't have a room of people that all they do is hammer out statement of qualifications. You know, have you guys ever turned in a bid and they ask you like 19,000 pages of information, and you sit there and you're 9:30 at night, your kids are playing and you're typing on your laptop? We understand that. And it would be improper for us to ask you to do that 70 times over the course of 2 years. We ask you to do it one time. So we have once, and that's the reason for this group solicitation. So we have, you provide your qualifications one time, we lessen the burden on you guys, we propose to Commissioner's Court the best qualified person for that job. We try to make sure that everybody in that program gets work in that 2 year period. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But we try to make sure that everybody in that gets work. So, and for us, we're not looking at 70-page evaluations or statements of qualifications on every project. Now, Public Works has a little bit different approach, but that's for Jesse to explain. So this is the list of the respondents for the 2016 RFQ. So these are the people that are in the pool right now. If you want to get in the pool, October 2018 is the date to remember. Again, you can see a lot of these firms, some are large, some are small, but a lot of them have designations from STCRA, right? A lot of them are hubs, WDs, SBEs, and so we encourage as much participation as possible in that. That solicitation goes through our office. We work with the SWIMBY office, or the SSMWBBE office. Renee Watson's group, will you say that? Is it shorter? To make sure that we get that information out to the market. We're going to go through the AIA, we'll go through the Professional Engineers Council, and all those other things. So again, if you guys are looking to get into that pool of work, this is it. Again, individual solicitations, we'll put those out individually for those larger projects, and we'll advertise for those. So I want to talk a little bit about some upcoming general contracting opportunities on vertical construction, right? All of these you're going to see through the purchasing portal. So all these are going to go through the purchasing department, and they're going to be very different delivery methods. So on our department, we typically take anything that's $3 million or less, we're going to hard bid it. It's just typically usually it's general scope, it's not very specific, and there's not a whole lot of exposure for us to pick the lowest bidder. Okay, anything from like $3 to $6 million, we're going to use a method called CSP, competitive seal proposal, which means you have qualifications as well as prices that factor in those. And the percentages can range depending on what it is. It's a highly complex project, you need more qualifications and less price. It's a pretty straightforward project, but it's got some logistical concerns. Obviously, it'll sway back the other direction. But that's, and above $6 million, we're going to use ultimate delivery. Primarily CM at risk or design build. Okay, we've used design build a couple times, and those are for larger projects. We're doing a design build project right now that's $32 million. Those are large efforts, but they have to be very simple scope. Right, CMA risk is what we leverage a lot of times on our larger projects because it allows us the clarity to see all the other stuff downstream, all the pricing, all the sub-pricing, what we're paying overhead and profit, what we're paying for materials, all those other things. And personally, I like that clarity because if anyone ever asks me, hey, you overpaying? I go exactly that pay application and say, no. Here's the price for the material, here's the sub markup, here's the general's markup, here's what it is out the door. Okay? So there's no shell games, it's all clear and everything. And I think the taxpayers, if they ever want to see those projects, would appreciate that. The next one. So the first project is being designed by Lopez Salas Architects. It's up 281, a little tiny building off by the FedEx terminal, over by the Sam's Club or Costco, Bidders in 281 area. We're renovating a 22,000 square foot building. Used to be ADP's building. It's about $3 million. We're going to put our constable and our JP for precinct 3 into that building. The tax assessor will not be there. It'll just stay at its existing location, but the JP and the constables will be there. We're going to hard bid this because we think it's just around that $3 million threshold, and it's pretty run of the mill. We're going to rake the whole building, new roof, parking lot improvements, and then again, this is going to be on the street probably in October. Okay, we just got the final design development plans yesterday. The next one, the fire marshal's facility. This one should be on the street next week. I know we're pressuring Mary's staff and working with them to make sure that this gets released in the newspaper and everything appropriate. This is a $4.5 million set of 2 metal buildings. This is an earlier sketch. We're designing a 15,000 square foot plus or minus fire marshal's office. And then we're also doing a 15,000 square foot OEM equipment storage facility for their hazmat trailers and all the other stuff they use to fight, stuff in the rural counties. This will be delivered CSP. Again, above that $3 million threshold. What we try to do is we try to say, hey, I know this is simple. It's 2 large metal buildings, but when it gets to $4.5 million, I'm just a little more comfortable with making sure that we have a very good contractor with qualifications doing the work. And SJPA is the architect on that one. The one exciting project that we have coming up that's kind of on a really tight time frame. So when we get this contractor in here, we're going to be, working as fast as we possibly can. We're doing selective demolition right now. The county is creating a heritage center. So on the west side of the courthouse, there's some space that the county judge, we're creating exhibits to explain what the county does. So just like some of you may have learned new things about the tax assessor this morning, we want to tell you, hey, how the Select Crime Lab works. This is how the jail works. This is community venues. This is the judicial system. This is the medical examiner's office. All these things that you may or may not know are associated with Bexar County will be presented in this format. So it's intended for kids and school-age children. Obviously, the history of Bexar County under 6 different countries. The history of the Alamo, the missions, and the UNESCO designation will be a big player in this thing. The exhibits are being designed currently. They're being fabricated. Selective demolition is done, but we need someone to build the space back. Really what we're going to be building is an empty museum space. So if you guys have ever been to the Briscoe or something out at the Whitty, blacked out ceiling, really Spartan floors and everything and all the power outlets. So really we're creating a shell for all the exhibits to go into. Those plans are done. We're just ready to release them to the street. We're doing the selective demolition to make sure we didn't miss anything. We think that's a $500,000 to $600,000 project. And we're going to do that IFP. So the next one is the Justice Center. So the Justice Center was built in 1985. Some of you may have seen this project before. It's finally going to be released to the street. It's exciting. It's in August. This is going to be a highly logistically complex project. We're renovating every restroom in the Justice Center, which houses 24 courtrooms and houses 600 people a day for jury duty. Okay? So when we shut down a restroom on one floor, it's going to be difficult. So timeliness is difficult. It's a secure facility, so nobody gets through that without going through a magnetometer. So deliveries will have to be staged. There is no on-site parking. There is no on-site laydown area. So again, this is a highly complex project. I'm not giving you authority to overprice me. I'm just saying, it's a very complex project. So that's why we're doing it at CSP. So again, we want people to know and understand, hey, sometimes I have to take 2 steps sideways to take 3 steps forward, right? I need to create a backlog of work in someplace that I know that's going to be ready to go. So if I ever get pushed back on something because the judge says, stop hammering because I'm about to sentence this guy to death, on the electric chair, we need to be able to make those moves. And that's why we want to do the CSP method with this. So, and that hits the street probably later this month. Next one we haven't assigned an architect to it, but the courthouse was originally built in 1896. It was added to in 1914 and then in 1926 again. I think some of these bathrooms are original. So, but no, they're really not. But we get almost, we get millions of people to the campus every year. And these bathrooms get used and abused. And it's just time for them to get a little tender loving care. And so we got a little bit of money to do 2 restrooms, and hopefully next year we'll do 2 more. And so we're taking this little consolidated approach and kind of hitting these across the way. But again, those will be designed, we probably think maybe the end of the year, maybe the first quarter of next year, that will be hitting the street. But it's not a large project. Again, we'll have some difficulties getting in, staging work, and maybe night work, and maybe something else. But again, we'll bid that through the purchasing department as a hard bid. So the next one. So this one is coming up, and this is going to be a presentation in Commissioner's Court on Tuesday. We're going to be building a new downtown parking garage. The parking garage is going to be about 720 spaces plus or minus. It's going to have the first floor is going to be shell space for future county departments. We think it's a $13 to $14 million job. We've got a recommendation for Commissioner's Court on a consultant. It hasn't been approved yet, so again, we're not broadcasting that publicly, but that'll come out on Tuesday. And we will be delivering the CMR. So we're asking for authority to advertise for a CMR risk starting Tuesday. So again, at the end of this month, you'll see the solicitation go out through the street, through the purchasing department, and then evaluations will be done. The pre-proposals probably in September, maybe proposals due at the end of September, October, November, enter into contract, and then by that time, we want to be at the first quarter next year, we want to be under construction. Because I want to be done with that in about a year from that time frame. So we got about 18 months, we want to be done with this project. So I want to let you guys know some subcontracting opportunities that are coming up. Right now, we're designing about $24 million in improvements to the women's annex, the main jail, and some other portions of the jail property. We are building it. You guys, if you've driven along 35, you may have seen the new 5-story unit, concrete structure going up on the south end of the jail. This is not that project. This is in addition to that project. That was delivered, design, build. Turner Construction is delivering CMA risk, multiple improvements. They're designing and delivering the renovation of an office building, 50,000 square feet of an office building for the sheriff's admin to move into, as well as other stuff inside the detention facility, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, architectural work, all that other stuff. If you want to bid on those projects, reach out to Turner Construction. Okay? If you need specific information about who to contact, my business card's in the back. It's also at the end of this presentation. You can email me, and I'll forward it directly to them and copy you so you know exactly who you need to talk to. So we'll assign you to the PM, and they'll get you involved. They do their own solicitation. With the CMA risk method, what we do is we allow them to go to the market according to all the state statutes and rules, solicit the bids, and provide a guaranteed maximum price for best value for the county, and then we take that for approval to Commissioner's Court. They manage all that work for us. We have owners reps that check the work on a daily basis, obviously. But if you want to do subcontracting on that job, it's through Turner Construction. So you guys let's talk a little bit about operational, preventative, and corrective services. And I think there's probably one too many ampersands or maybe too many ands in here for that. Go to the next one. So operational services. So this is stuff like uniforms, custodial services, pest control, water treatment, and all those other things. So day-to-day stuff. We do all these kind of things. We are generally solicit these in cooperation with the purchasing department. Sometimes we use co-ops for things like uniforms because they're available. But we're willing to talk to anybody. Again, we are here. If you guys have a need or you guys have service you think that is useful to us, send me an email. I'll sit down with anybody for 30 minutes and find out what you guys do. I'm not going to be here for the duration of the meet and greet, but I want to point out somebody in the back who's very important to us. Valdemar Garcia, if you stand up for a second so everyone knows who you are. Okay, Valdemar Garcia is my contract manager. So all these solicitations we do for services, pest control, lawn care, all those other things, he's the guy. So, and you have to ask him, you have to promise me when you go and talk to him, you have to ask him how he got his nickname Paunch. Okay? You have to promise me you ask him. Okay, go to the next slide. So preventative maintenance contracts. We are really hammering it under my leadership of this department, preventative maintenance on our buildings. Right? For too long, we've looked at we just operate to failure, and then when it breaks, we replace it. That is not a sustainable environment for anybody. We have PM contracts on large HVAC equipment, chillers, and cooling towers, right? I don't have people that have specific knowledge and all those things, so I need to bring those in as a contracted service. Battery backup systems, UPSs, right? Generator services, all those other things that are specific trades that I can't hire out on my own because it's just cost prohibitive. Parking equipment, it's very specialized kind of industry. There's only 2 or 3. If anybody knows anybody that does parking equipment, please email me, because we only know about 2 or 3 in the region, and that includes Austin, that provide that service. So we're more than happy to talk to anybody that provides that service. And again, we do solicitations, whether it's IFP best value, or whether it's a CSP or RFP for those things. We do those generally through the purchasing department. Corrective maintenance services. So this is the stuff we generally go straight to the market on. If we need 7 sheets of Lexan because the inmates keep carving it up and making shanks out of it, we need to go buy that stuff. This is real, I'm not joking, right? If we need 2x4s, if we need copper elbows, if we need PVC piping, if we need nails, we need screws, we need everything else. We go directly to the market. If you're a supplier that has that stuff, if you're on the portal and we have a pricing book from you, we'll order stuff from you, okay? We just need to know that it's available and you guys have it, it's in stock, you know. So again, we comply with all the guidelines, and what a lot of times what we'll do is, if we have a need for a specific lump of parts that we're not exactly sure who it is, our policy is now going to require that I send that information to purchasing and the Swinby office, and they're going to give me a list of people that provide that service, right? So if I'm looking for 2x4s, just as in general terms, I'm going to ask Mary and Renee Watson, hey, give me a list of all the vendors you have on your log that has 2x4s. And I'm going to send out an email to my department saying, hey, I'm looking for 100 2x4s, number 2 yellow pine, delivered on this day. And then we'll see what we get back from the market. So if you're not on their list, you won't hear from us. Okay, so I encourage you guys, get on those lists, get on the list with the Swinby department, get on the list with the purchasing agent, Lawson is a vendor, because that's the only way we get the information. We're going to ask them for the leads, so to speak. And so if you're on that list, we'll be able to reach out to you guys. Again, if you want to come see us directly, we're more than happy to sit down with anybody. And if you give me a little heads up notice, I'll get the division head or the department head that does those services on a daily basis in the room, so you can talk directly to them about those technical things. I'm an architect by trade, so I'm not, you know, they say I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, and that's very apropos, right? So again, I'll take, you know, advice where I can get it. Go to the next one. So this is our contact information. Again, I'm the director. Here's my email address. It's real simple. It's one of the shortest ones in the county. dcurry@bear.org, right? Curry like the spice, right? My capital projects manager who runs all the vertical construction, capital projects, that's Nicholas Layton. His email is significantly longer than mine. And it has a weird spell, Nicholas.Layton@bear.org. And of course, Baldemar Ponch Garcia, who in the back is bponchgarcia@bear.org, another long one. But again, my business card I know is out there somewhere. Ponch is going to be here. I have to go up to Austin for a jail commission meeting. But again, I'll take any questions real quickly if you guys have any specific ones about the presentation or upcoming projects. Anything? Yes, ma'am. So we've done selective demolition. So the problem with the courthouse, and this is a little known secret, don't tell anybody, is there's holes everywhere, right? And it's really hard to create fire separation when you have a building that has been, you know, hammer inspected for, you know, visual obstructions for hundreds of years. And so we have done selective demolition to take down everything. The bid package that we have that goes out will have some minor demolition in it, but it's not going to be the full-scale demolition piece. Other questions? Yes.
Do most of your projects include the FF&E, or are you doing that separately on different projects? How do we find out?
So right now we're working with our purchasing department on specifically, let's say, furniture. You know, a lot of furniture vendors are on co-ops. Of course, you can go to the open market and get furniture, and the jury really is still out on how we do that. We leverage co-ops, TexMass, and other TCPN when we buy furniture for these projects as we roll them out. If you are a furniture provider, we'd love to meet with you. We know of a list of people that we have on the list, and we work through them, and we use the co-op for those things. We want to make sure that we're making compliant with all the policies, and that's what we're having to work through in this next upcoming months. But if you are a furniture vendor or an FF&E provider, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to put you on our list and then make you aware of anything that's coming up. Any other questions? Yes, sir. On some projects, so the county is not like the city where they have that set aside for art or art enhancement. But we do know that on some facilities, In our jail campus, there's not gonna be any art, right? Yeah, obviously. But when we're building a new landmark public works facility on the Mission Reach, we obviously wanna have some kind of enhancement, and we wanna make that look as great as possible. It's as budget permits. I mean, we have some ideas from an architectural standpoint of what should be involved, but specific art pieces and set-asides for art sculptures, we typically haven't done that a lot, but we're always open to the idea of it. Absolutely. I'm out.
Again, special thank you to Dan Curry for sticking around with us. dcurry@bear.org. Ponch will be sticking around if you guys want to meet with him, introduce yourself, give a brief spiel as to what it is you do, how you might help on our upcoming projects. I did tell you guys a lot coming our way. Dan is very integral in what it is we have going on in the county because of his position, and he's really good at getting the word out for us. So we appreciate him sticking around. One thing, if you guys were listening to his presentation, he kept saying, get with purchasing, get with purchasing, get with purchasing. Everything funnels through our purchasing office. Our purchasing agent, Mary Quinones, is here. She can speak to you specifically about how it is she does what she does, and more specifically, how it is you get on with our network, our Lawson supplier vendor pool. So without further ado, Mary Quinones, purchasing agent, Bexar County.
I'm just going to hold this because first thing I always need to do is, yes, I am the purchasing agent for Bexar County. However, I'd like to introduce you to the people that really do the work in purchasing. So my staff will come up, and these are the people that you need to know and you need to talk to, because they're the ones that do all the buying. They do the contracting, they do the solicitations. So they're pretty busy. They're also each assigned to different areas, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring them up. And then they're also in charge of our Supplier Portal. I know you've heard a little bit about that. Some of you, how many of you are actually registered right now on our Supplier Portal? Okay. Now, the rest of you, did you know that if you register on our Supplier Portal, you'll get notice of all the things that Dan Curry was just talking about. Plus, you'll also get notice from all the requisitions, not the requisitions, I'm sorry, the requests for quotes that we have to go out on, and you'll also get notices whenever we're putting out our hard bids. Because besides Dan Curry that you talked in the facilities, we have 54 offices. Is it 54, 48? It's either 54 or 48 offices. We buy everything for the county. So that's one of the things that you need to know. Now, let me go through and introduce my buyers. They're just going to wave right now. But you do need to talk to them. I have 3 buyers, and they buy everything under $50,000. So they may be doing those uniforms. They may be buying those staples. They may be doing those kind of things. And my buyers are Jessica Flores, and where's the other one? There's Anthony San Miguel over there, and Valerie Meyer. Those are the ones that are do the buying for everything under $50,000. So that's where you really want to talk to them. They also have cards and all those kind of things out there too. And then I'm going to have my contract specialists. These are the people that do a lot of the things over $50,000 that require the solicitations, the invitation for bids. That's an IFB. I didn't know if everybody knew that Dan was talking about. IFB is an invitation for bid. CMAR is a construction manager at risk, and an RFP is a request for proposal, and a CSP is a competitive sealed proposal. So it's kind of like an IFB, but you can negotiate on it. So anyways, I have Patty Torres, Jonathan Price, Mario Garza, Jason Burgos, Mike Mitchell. Those are my, did I get everybody in there? Yeah. Those are my contract specialists. So those are the people that'll be around here after the presentation that you'll be able to talk to, make sure that, you know, you either give that your card to them or get their card. I never know which way that's going to work around here. But these are the people that do the main business for Bexar County, because we do not report to the county manager. I do not report to basically Commissioner's Court. I report to a purchasing board, and that is 3 district judges and 2 commissioners. So that's how we keep the separation out of there from a lot of the different things that the county manager's office may be doing. But we're kind of like the sheriffs for purchasing. We're the ones that try to make sure that they do follow, stay in line, and we have specific rules and regulations that we have to follow. So a lot of times people get mad at us, but I really don't care. I have the law behind me. So, you know, so that's where we come from. But at this point, one of the most important things I'd like to do is have Erin come up. And oh, Carmen is over there too. She's away, but Erin needs to come up. You guys can go ahead if you want. You can go ahead. Erin is going to tell you about our Supplier Portal. This is where you need to be registered in our Supplier Portal, so that we can go ahead and you can get those requisitions and get those quotes and get to all of those things. So I'm going to have Erin go ahead and talk about the Supplier Portal, and then I think we're going to move on, but we'll also be around. All my buyers will be, you know, in different places over here. The buyers and the contract specialists, if you have any questions for them, I'll go round them up. It looks like they ran pretty fast, so I'll go round them up, so whenever you have any questions. But right now I'd like to introduce Aaron. I do not say his last name because he yells at me, because I cannot pronounce it. And he's going to talk to you about our most important thing is our Supplier Portal.
Thank you very much. Hi, Erin here. It's Erin Andrade. It's not that she mispronounced my last name. It's the last meeting we had, she completely forgot my full name. So that's one of the things I will make sure to add. So it's Erin Andrade. All right, first of all, what you're looking at is our Supplier Portal right here. And then if you see, it has a pretty long little HTTP email address. If you want, you can just do an internet search, type in Bexar County Supplier or Bexar County Purchasing, and it'll be the first search item that pops up. So you can use that link to get to here. Now, if you look right here at the bottom, it says how to register as a new supplier. If you press click there, it'll give you a little page step by step how to register with us. It's pretty basic. You can go ahead and just go back. We're good with that. Thank you. Let me go back. All right. So if you haven't registered with us, it'll benefit you to go through it. The main thing to look at is your commodity codes, because that's what lets us know what job or what you offer with your business. So when we set out a bid, that's what they look at. They use that code to go ahead and send you an email to let you know that there's something in that area that we have going up. Okay, so if you want, go ahead and go here to solicitations. It's the second link. Go ahead and click on that. It'll open up and it'll let you see all the solicitations we have open right now. If you want, you can see emotions, Tricentennial for Bexar County, and everything does vary because we have a wide range. We have horses, we have an equine program, so we have hay, we have construction bids, we have paper. So anything you can pretty much imagine the county is bidding on or looking for. So this is a great place just to go keep an eye out to see what's coming out. Now, if you're already registered with us, if you go up to the upper left-hand corner, there's a login right there, and you can log in with your password. If you haven't registered with us, just go over to the right where it says register, and there, sorry about that. And then there you can go ahead and start your registration with us. And then once you go ahead and register, like I said, it'll get you set up with us so that way you get notified whenever new bids come up. And that's pretty much all there is about the Supplier Portal. Any questions about it? Yes, ma'am.
So I've registered, but when I've met with people from Bexar County, the one question they would ask is, well, how do I work with you because you don't have a vendor number? Does that give me a vendor number?
you register here, you get a supplier number. And that means you're in the system and you'll get notifications. Now say like a department reached out to you or you got in contact with a department and they want to use your services, they have to contact us and then we'll issue you a vendor number that they can use to go ahead and place the order. Yes, ma'am. All right. Any other questions? Oh, yes, in the back.
The Supplier Portal is only for over 50,000?
No.
Or everything?
Everything. Yeah, we can also use the commodity code to pull up a list of suppliers depending on what a department's looking for. And we can give them that list so they can go through there and see if someone has an item that they're looking for. Anyone else? No? All right, well, thank you all for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.
Again, thank you to Aaron and thank you to Mary Quinones, her entire staff. Just to reemphasize, my department, SWIMB, SVE, folks who sent you this notice to come out to this meeting, we'll find you. We'll do our best to make sure that we reach out to all the different directories we have access to. We'll find out what it is that you sell, and we'll reach out to you to make sure you know about opportunities as best we can find you. The absolute best thing that you can do to work with Bexar County is to get with Mary Q staff and put yourself in our supplier portal. If you directly enter your commodity codes, you yourself are saying, this is what I sell. And that's far better than me going out and saying, okay, you said you sell lumber, which was the example Curry gave earlier. Maybe it's our solicitation, it might make sense to me to reach out to you, but then it's something you don't sell. And now you just have another email from Bexar County you don't want to read, and now from here on out you might not read anything coming from Bexar County because we already missed you on the solicitation. So if you go to our supplier portal, through Aaron, through Carmen, through Mary Q and her staff, and say, this is what I sell through your commodity codes, we will make sure that you're getting solicitations direct to what it is that we're trying to buy. That being said, transition over to our public works department. They always have big projects coming out. Jesse Garcia and Berdell Myers are both here to speak to be honest, I haven't looked at their updated projects, so this is going to be interesting for me too. Jesse, I'm excited to hear what you have. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Jesse Garcia. I am one of several capital project managers, engineers for Bexar County Public Works. Bexar County Public Works is actually separate different divisions. We have the environmental department, developmental services. We also have fleet and maintenance. We have a small real estate department as well, section. And then we have engineering services. Underneath engineering services, we're also broken down into transportation CIP, flood control CIP, and also the animal RMA. So I'll kind of cover a little bit about transportation, animal RMA, and flood control. Along with me, before I go on, I'm going to introduce also Berdell Myers. She's right in the back. She's one of our civil engineering assistants and will be assisting me in this presentation today. Little overview on all of our projects. We have currently about 22 projects in construction, which average out to about 165 million. The big number that you guys want to see is the 30 that are in design and planning at the moment. And that averages about $203 million right now. I'm going to go into the capital projects transportation side. And this is pretty much an overview map of all the projects that we have currently in design and construction. A little overview about our transportation funded projects. We have 28 projects, 15 construction, 13 design. The construction ones are average about 131 million at the moment, and the ones in the design average about 76 million. These next couple of slides are going to go over the 13 projects that are in design. They average about 76 million. All of these 13 projects, they vary from subdivision reconstruction jobs or expansion jobs. The majority of them entail asphalt, concrete, for sidewalks, riprap, topsoil, sodding, fencing, silk fence, and etc. I'm not going to go over all the projects, but a lot of them are in negotiation, some are in design. This W2 Montgomery extension is a pretty big project. It's about a $14 million project. Go next slide, down. Here's some other projects go between $3 to $8 million. They're in intermediate final design. Next one. This is our last slide. One of the projects I kind of wanted to talk about more in detail is our SH211 pass-through finance project. This is our last pass-through finance project with TxDOT. We actually have a good partnership with TxDOT. About several years ago, we ended up getting together with Texas, we have these pass-through finance agreements. And so what they entail is that Bexar County would take over the Texas roadway, we would design it, manage it, pay for it, and then Texas would come back and pay us out in the next several years. And this would be the last one, which is about a $22 million project. And it pretty much closes the capacity gap between Tranquil and Pueblo. So it's an 8-mile facility through pretty much virgin territory land. There's nothing out there. That's a real nice project. This little table here is pretty much our advertising schedule for the next 2 years. As you can see, we have pretty much 4 projects that are going to be advertised in the next 3 to 4 months. And then it'll kind of dry out there, and then around the same time, 2018, we'll have another 5 projects coming out for advertising. Now to go over our flood control projects. About 9 years ago, Bexar County went forward with a flood control program. It was a $500 million program that would span for 10 years. We're currently at the tail end of the program, which we're actually on schedule to be complete by next year. We currently have 14 total projects for flood control. We have 7 in construction, which total about $34 million, and 7 in design, which is about $51 million. Out of those projects that are still in design, again, they're flood control projects, so they all entail the water crossings, channel improvement projects. There's some subdivision work, but it's usually associated with the channel improvements as well. So as you see, they're probably vary between $3 million to $14 million. With that Woodlawn be one of our biggest flood control projects coming out here pretty soon. Again, these are some other 2 flood control projects. We have again a channel improvement project and another water crossing. Excuse me. This is the proposed advertising schedule for the remaining flood control projects that are currently designed. So we have one coming out in the next 3 months, and after that they'll be scattered throughout the rest of next year. Now let's go on to the Alamo RMA funded projects. Bexar County did take over the operations of the Alamo RMA several years ago. We do have a total of 10 projects currently in design and planning. One good feature about the Alamo RMA is they're able to tap into the vehicle registration fee. It's a $10 fee that everybody pays. So with that additional funding through the RMA, we're able to fund a majority of county projects that we didn't have funding for. So currently we have about $76 million worth of projects that we're going to move forward through the Alamo RMA with their vehicle registration funding. Again, these projects are pretty much, they're very similar to our regular transportation CIP projects. They're all roadway projects. Since it's a vehicle registration funded project, usually deal with mobility. So they're usually expansion projects, add capacity projects. Usually going from a 2-lane road to a 4-lane, adding pedestrian and bike facilities, and etc. So as you can see, they vary from $2 to $10 million in range. Go next slide, please. This is the proposed advertising schedule for the Alamo RMA projects. We do have one coming out at the end of the year, and after that, they will be scattered throughout the remaining 2018. Now, this is a good overview of the next 12 months for transportation, flood control, and Alamo RMA. Again, in summary, 12 projects, estimating $73 million for transportation. For flood control, 7 equaling 51. For the Alamo RMA, 7 projects equaling about $78 million. And the big number is, yep, $202 million within the next 12 months. Now, this is actually the meat and potatoes of my presentation. So now, how are you going to access these projects and try to tap into that $202 million worth of funding for these projects? And I stated earlier through Dan Curry, the majority of our projects are design, bid, build. So once we get to the bidding phase, we go to the purchasing department. And one of the useful features we use is, or tools is CivCast. That's where we upload all of our projects. We upload actually all the plans from preliminary to intermediate to final design. And then we pretty much upload all the bidding documents and then push it out for bid. What I'm going to do here, and I'm going to have Dale actually switch over to CivCast. And we'll do a little drive-through. While she's doing that, if anybody did not get one of these, they're in the front of the signing table area. It's pretty much a summary of everything I've talked about here, and it is broken into transportation, flow control, and RMA. There's also the websites for the online bidding for CIVCAS. There's also some contact information and some additional project information. Go through Chrome, Burdell. Yeah, that's right there. Okay, so this is CIVCAS. It's free to register, it's free to use. It's actually really easy to use as well. A lot of the good thing about CIVCAS is not only Bexar County utilizes this tool, it's also utilized by Harris County, Travis County, and pretty much the majority of the counties in Texas. And I believe it's going to go national as well. So what you do is once you log in, you hit browse in the upper right corner. As you can see, that's a list of all the projects, not only in Bexar County, but in Tarrant County, Jefferson County, Fort Bend, and etc. What I'm gonna have her do is look up one of our current projects that's currently bidding, or Tally Road at Culebra traffic signals. So in summary, it's the basic summary of the project. Tells you details, estimated total cost, the owner, where it's located. You also have the scope of the project, and it goes into the pre-bid details, as far as tomorrow being the pre-bid of this project, which will be at our Public Works building. The actual bid opening August 25th at 10 o'clock, which will be here. Some contact information from my supervisor as well, and some other information. Scroll up here. Next summary is docs, so documents. You click on that, you have the invitation to bid, the bid docs, the plans, and any other crucial information of the project. The next tab is the questions. Say you download the plans and you find a discrepancy, or you have a general question about the project. You could input this information or question here, and it'll email it to the project manager. Now the main tab that's most important for you guys is the plan holders. So this is everybody who's interested in this project who's actually downloaded the plans, or is just following the job. It tells you the company name, company type, subcontractor, general contractor, contact name, contact phone number, and email. The good thing about this is it's say if you're not a prime, you're a sub, and you're interested in being a subcontractor to one of these general contractors. This is, you could contact each and every one of them and just ask, what are the needs? Do you need rock for direct A-beams? Do you need fencing? You need steel or rebar, and et cetera, et cetera. Another good tool is the track project. So say you go onto this list and you find a project that you like that you want to follow. Say it's the 211 project I mentioned earlier. You find that project, you hit track. Now every time we upload a document, design plan, submittal, or just bid documents, it will send you an email notification telling you about that change. And that's pretty much my presentation. Go ahead, Burdell, and go to the last slide. Again, that's our contact information. David Wedman, he is the engineering services manager for our department, our section. Christopher Trevino is the Alamo Army operations engineer. And there's also some general information about our public works department. Again, all this information is located at the sound that you can pick up in the front. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. So just to reiterate, the whole reason that we threw this together, my department, SBE, we wanted to make sure you guys know how to go about getting work. Specifically with Bexar County, it's called Meet the Buyers, where you come out and find the folks who make our buys. But Jesse touched on CIVCAS. Any resource we can point out to you to help you find work, that's why we're here. So he showed you plan holders, for example. Now, any of those projects going on in Bexar County, those are our projects. But you can go in there to each plan holder, as he was mentioning, and see, okay, well, they're taking on bids. They're looking to submit bid work on this. So I know that realistically I have a sub-opportunity here. When we find things like that, we absolutely pass this along. CivCast is a powerful tool. If you're in that trade, that's something that we push along to you. Anywhere that we can find opportunities like that, our office exists to push those out to you. And the other thing Public Works does with us, they're really integral for our compliance effort to make sure that our subs get paid, and then that we can track our projects as they progress. One tool that we use is CDMS to do that, and with that, we're able to monitor disputes, discrepancies. And if you folks didn't know, Bexar County actually has a resource available to you. It's called the Dispute Resolution Center. And we actually have a Linda Terrell from the Dispute Resolution Center talk to you about what services the county is able to offer you as taxpayers. So, Ms. Terrell?
Hi, good morning. My name is Linda Terrell, and I'm from the Bexar County Dispute Resolution Center. And we are a county department that offers mediation at no cost to any resident, any business owner in Bexar County. We were established in 1984 by Commissioner's Court to essentially pull congestion out of the courts by offering mediation at no cost. There's 10 of us on staff, and we have 150 volunteers that do our mediations for us. And that is how we are able to provide the service to the county at no cost, because we do have the volunteers that do the mediation pro bono. They are all state certified mediators, and right now we have an 85% agreement rate coming out of our mediations. So mediation does work. We are open Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So when the sheriff's office says they're 24/7, we're the next ones that stay open late too. Although we are open till 8 p.m., we have had a mediation go till midnight before, and we stayed. On Fridays we do close at 5, thank goodness. So what kind of mediations do we offer, you're wondering? So we do the community-based mediations, the barking dogs, the tree lines, the fence lines, the tree limbs, things like that. Legal disputes, family disputes, money owed, child visitation issues. But we're here also to help you. If you ever have an issue, a dispute with a vendor that's not paying, if you're a subcontractor, you're not being paid, we can set up the mediation. We usually set up mediations within 2 weeks, so we have a good turnaround. From the time you request mediation, we can set up the mediation probably within about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. We work around your work schedule. That's the 6 o'clock mediations that we set. And also, like I said, it's at no cost. I'm going to keep saying that because people don't believe me. And so if you have people that owe you money, or if you have an employee, 2 employees that aren't getting along, or we also do the mediations with employer-employee issues, we can help you. You can go to court. I don't know how long you'll sit on the docket, and I'm not sure how much you're going to pay in filing fees. But we can try to help you. Like I said, we have an 85% agreement rate coming out of our mediations. I always encourage mediation before you go to court. I would prefer to get a letter to come in and sit down and try to resolve a dispute in mediation and then get dragged into court. I think most of y'all agree with that, right? So if you want to request a mediation, it is very easy now. We are finally caught up with everybody else in the county, and we are able to receive the request for mediations online. All you have to do is go onto our website. It's www.bear.org/DRC, and you click on request mediation. It's very easy. It takes literally 5 minutes to fill out the forms, press submit, and then I will get it immediately, or my partner gets it immediately, Valnata, and we will be calling you to make sure we have all the information we need to go ahead and set up the mediation, like I said, within about 2 weeks. We have Spanish-speaking mediators. There's usually 2 mediators in the room, and so if we need a Spanish-speaking mediator, we can provide that as well. So Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All our mediations are confidential. They're held in our office because it is a secure, neutral setting. We are located on the first floor of the Kadena Reeves Justice Center, so I'm kind of excited. I think we might get new bathrooms too. I didn't know that, so we do have our own bathrooms in our center, so I'm wondering if we're part of that whole bathroom renovation thing. We need it. But we are located in the Kadena Reeves Justice Center on the first floor. There is a night entrance from the Villa Rosa side if you have a 6 o'clock mediation. And so like I said, we are open till 8, but if we see that the parties are moving towards an agreement, a good faith agreement, we stay open as long as we need to. Does anybody have any questions about services we offer? No? So as long as it's civil in nature, as long as it's not in litigation, we will set up the mediation at no cost. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. Go on our website, take a look at what services we offer and what mediation is all about and how it works. And if you want to request a mediation, like I said, you can submit it online and we'll receive it immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena, and thank you to the Dispute Resolution Center. It's great having a resource in the county we can direct folks to, knowing that our issue is compliance. We want to make sure you guys are getting what you're supposed to get. We want to make sure that if you need a civil remedy, we can at least point you in the right direction to help pursue that. And it's great having the Dispute Resolution Center available to us. I want to thank you guys for sticking around. We know that as small business owners, you guys are taking out a lot of your time that you could be doing very productive things with. We hope we're giving you some productive leads and teaching you how to go about getting opportunity. Thus far, everyone that you've met has been a direct speaker on behalf of Bexar County and how it is you can find business work with their particular department. But we partner with our municipal partners like Sarah to make sure that, one, if we can push outreach and help small business engage somewhere else in the county, we have that opportunity. And two, we share a lot of information, both in the way that we do our business operations and any projects they have coming up. With that, we're very fortunate that Ms. Latifah Jackson, Yes, sorry. Latifah Jackson has stuck around with Sarah. She's here to speak to you about what Sarah has going on, and I ask you guys to welcome her. Open arms.
Alright, thank you guys again for sticking around. My name is Latifah Jackson. I am the privileged procurement manager for the San Antonio River Authority. Easiest way to remember my name is like Queen Latifah, but no Queen. Easiest way. Next slide, please. It's going to be easy. The slideshow I'm going to do, I'm just going to give you a couple of procurement stuff from Sarah, and then I'm just going to give you some good tips and tricks from buyers and when you're submitting your RFPs and your RFPs. That's not only for Sarah or Bear, but any public entity that you are preparing for. Sarah, what is Sarah? I know when I first got the job, I'm about 60 days over with Sarah. I was like, this is going to be easy. All we're going to do is buy, a couple of canoes and chemicals, right? And that's easy. Not the case whatsoever. We actually have a wastewater plant. We are heading the San Pedro Creek project. We are in charge of 4 counties of the river, which are Goliad, Bear, Karnes, and Wilson County. So my purchasing power is like all the way through, not just Bexar County. But if you can deliver to all those counties, that's great. If not, hey, those are small business, again, opportunities that I'm going to be going out to those counties and reaching out to them as well. Some of the procurement, our thresholds are a little bit different just because we are under the watershed policy and procedure under state laws. Anything under 5,000, my guys can kind of go out and buy whatever we need. I do push a small business effort and looking into that. Anything between 5,000 and 75,000, they're getting quotes and they're going out to try to find this would be in the hub. So, anything over 75,000, they are coming to me for me to put out and publish. For our professional services, is anything less than 25,000, they're going out. 25 to 75, they're going out and getting those professional quotes, and anything up from 75, it needs to come to me. That way our board can also approve it. What does Sarah purchase? Like I said before, we do everything. We do vehicles, engineering services, architectural services, toilet paper, whatever you think you need to run a business, we do it in a little bit more. We actually have a lab, so that's a whole other component of supplies that we have to have in what else? Rock. I just put out a bid for rock. I've never bid rock in my life, and I was like, okay, that's a new one. But any weird thing you can think of, we're buying it and testing it. Our solicitations, we put it on the San Antonio News Express News. We publish them every Sunday. We have to do it 2 times. BidNet is what we're using as of right now. Now with BidNet, don't tell them I said this. There's 2 ways you can register. It's one, the free one. You're not going to get the notifications and all that good stuff. And then there's one to pay for $89 where you will get the emails and things. I'm not pushing that to do that because we also push everything on our website. When you go to our website, about Sarah, if there's a contracting opportunities tab, click on there. All the addendums are going to be posted on there. All of the solicitations are posted on there. There's also a vendor registration. make sure you register. It's free to go on there and register throughout that, and we'll push you those notifications through that as well. Who we purchase from, we do use cooperative purchases, Texas Moss, Buy Board, U.S. Communities, Texas Smart Buy. We also push small businesses like you all. I push my guys as much as possible to do that. If y'all are not registered as a hub or with SCTRA, definitely go and do that. That is where I look. I know that's also where the city of San Antonio looks as well for some of their small businesses when they are looking for those vendors. But that's basically on the purchasing side. I just want to give y'all a couple of tips. I know y'all see 1,000 solicitations go out and you put in like 1,000 different ones and you're still not getting it, or just to help you a little bit on preparing your packages. Before you start writing, read the document. Make sure you know what you're putting in for. These are key information you definitely want to be looking at. Look for the strong words, the shall, the must. Those are the things that you're going to have to do. Some of the words that they might put in there, like you may, those are kind of when I'm getting from my end users, like, well, they might have to do this. So it's kind of on their wish list, so be prepared to do it when you are reading these big packages, because 8 times out of 10, they're going to ask you, even though it doesn't say shall. Make sure you're understanding, make sure you're looking at the specifications. If you have a question on the specification in that big package, be sure to ask the person in charge of that solicitation. I say if you think you got it, still ask, just to make sure you're putting in for the right things. Look at how it's going to be evaluated. A lot of times on the RFP, it puts the criteria on there. Your experience and background is going to be 50% of your points. So you know when you're putting that solicitation together, you know that you need to be hitting that really strong, because that's where your points are going to be. Also, whatever certificate they ask, or just depending on your industry. I know when I did some fire bids and things of that nature, it was very strong on the certifications of that business. Make sure that y'all are really including everything that they're asking for. And if you have additional and higher criteria, include that as well. Plan your timeline. This is very important. When I have my pre-bid meetings, I tell you my bid closes at 2 p.m., 2 p.m., 2 p.m. You run in at 2:01, it's late. And we can't open it, and that's just not me being mean, that's just policy and state procedures. Know who's who in your bid. I can tell you yesterday I had a bid closing, and I called one of my vendors who was really interested in doing it. What happened? Oh, well, I gave it to my general manager, he didn't turn it in. Nope, didn't get it. So make sure your timelines and things, your in-house stuff is together as well. Previous experience, highlight your previous experience. I've seen so many times where people are like, oh, if I was a subcontractor for a COSA contract, and so, City of San Antonio, it holds weight, right? Well, if the project's really not that relevant to what I'm doing, I kind of could care less that you had a COSA contract. Even if it's the small stuff, if it's relevant to the bid, put in all that information that you can put in for them. That way we can say, yes, they know what they're doing and they do it frequently. Templates and pricing. A lot of times people, I've seen it, especially the bigger companies, they're guilty of this. They have these standard templates that they put together for every RFP that they put together, but it's not tailored to that one solicitation. So yes, if you're using templates for your RFPs and all that good stuff, that's great, but make sure you're just not copying and pasting it into every solicitation. Go through it and just make it a little bit more relevant. If you just even put my name, I noticed you actually made a change to something. Pricing. Make sure you're looking at your pricing. Your prices that you put are what we're holding you to. So many times I've had some vendors like, oh, I fat fingered it. Oh, I say you look it over twice and have somebody else in your company look over once, just to make sure what you're quoting me is what I'm planning on paying, because what you submit is what we're looking forward to. And if you come back and I'm like, oh, well, I'm like, well, I'm sorry, you might have just lost your bidding because somebody was cheaper. Clarification and questions. Again, if you have a question, ask something. Read the document. I've had some people ask me, is there a bid opening? On the front page of my solicitation, it shows the exact time, the exact date of the bid opening. Yes. So make sure you're reading it. But again, ask those clarification questions. If I don't know it, as I tell everybody, I speak purchasing fluently. Engineering services, that's what my engineers are for, and I'll funnel those questions through. So I promise when you ask me questions, or when you ask any purchasing agent, or a good purchasing agent, any questions, they're gonna go back to their subject matter experts and get those. And remember, we're not trying to keep y'all out. We really want to award these contracts, because if I can't award them, I have to put them back out and redo my work again. So we really want to reward you to these. There's no trick questions. Again, if you're having any complications or with understanding, definitely ask. And I believe that is it. If you have any questions for me, concerns, definitely get with me. I know we partner a lot with Bexar County. Our funds, we don't have a swim-beat program, but a lot of times we're using those federal funds. We are using Bexar County COSA funds, and we piggyback off of whatever their requirements are, since it is their money. So again, I put out a page. My contact information is on there. I have some business cards out there. Definitely email me, call me, and be happy to help.
Thank you. You guys made it. We made it all the way through our presentations. Thanks for sticking around. That being said, Torrance, you have our information up? My colleague in the back there, Torrance White, he's pulling up our contact information so you know how to get a hold of us. If there's any questions you have about any presentation you saw and you don't have a chance to speak to that speaker, or maybe it's just something you don't have time to address now, we're going to pull up our emails. Myself there, james.massey@bear.org, Torrance White, I think Torrance backwards, White.Torrance, right? Yeah. But reach out to either one of us. If it's a matter of getting a hold of that presentation, we can email that to you. If it's a matter of just following up regarding one specific thing you heard, please reach out to us. We're here to help you. I promise you will have a better response whenever you're sending your RSVPs. We had an overwhelming response with that. That being said, we have our buying staff that you heard from. Most of them are still here. We're going to see if we get Ponch to exit out those doors. We'll keep him in the break room so you guys can meet with him. We have Mr. Angeles from the Sheriff's Office. We'll see if we can direct him to another part of the room. Mary Q and her staff, Latifah, sticking around. We're just going to move you guys around. If there's anyone you want to speak to, we're going to just set you off to the side here so you can have that one-on-one time. If you have any questions regarding Public Works, we're going to send you to Torrance. Yes, everybody else stepped away, but Torrance works very close to that office, handles their solicitations. Anything that you have regarding that, we'll send you to Torrance. Again, before you leave, step by where you signed in. We have all kinds of handouts from these departments regarding more information on their projects and more contact information for you guys. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for sticking with us, and please ask us any questions that you have.